Okay, this recording shows a whole bunch of different things going on when I was in the process of doing the multicam editing. First thing you'll notice is I have my two clips that were made into a multicam timeline by aligning on their audio waveforms. You'll also notice that the two clips had drastically different color interpretations of the scene. You'll also notice that in the preview screen over here, after all of the multicam editing had taken place, there were corrections to the two cameras to allow the images to look fairly similar, I think, in their color. Okay, that was the primary thing I wanted to show you with this screen. What else did I want to show? Oh yeah. Let's go into the color page real quick. Change timelines. Okay. Go to single frame or single viewer. And then in the color window, you'll see that there were some tools that I used to try to correct the Panasonic image, where I initially just did color temperature and some luma, and then I did some color, hue versus hue and hue versus saturation. And what you're looking at down here is a hue versus hue graph, and here is hue versus saturation. You can see the vector scope, and over here is a, nope, not that button, this button. There we go. So I have a colorized waveform as well, and I was using both of those tools as I was trying to get these two camera images to match up. This is from the Sony camera. Kind of reduced the coolness of it. That you can see over here where I reduced the blue, and this is in the hue versus saturation page. Here, things in hue versus hue, the alignments were pretty close to the standard in the vector scope. So the Sony was a little easier to deal with. And there you go. You can see that I tried to get, good even flesh tones, a good saturation like on my shirt. And in fact, in the final that I released, there were a couple of little cuts. This is an example of the multi-camera time. Let me shut that up. The multi-camera timeline. I didn't quite shut it all up. There we go. In the multicam timeline, where you can see the original color still of the original clip, and then this is the after applying the grade or the LUT that I had created. Yeah, my cameras don't have any of the fancy log capabilities, so I had to do this kind of the hard way. Anyway, a little bit of the background here. This multicam edit stuff. This took some long nights because I almost had to watch the entire thing in order to find the cut points for where I would switch between cameras. In some cases, cameras didn't really get a very good view, but I tried to go to the least worst, if you will. Okay, so in another moment here, I want to try to show you how much I cut out of stuff. So there you go. Okay, here's a little sample of the editing process. I've got a clip here that I've just finished a section of building on. So I set a marker in the track to say what the next thing I'm going to do is, and because of the length of this video, I cut out the sections where I'm getting parts out. So I'll scroll through this until I get all the parts for a top of a page, for instance. In this case, top of 32. And once I get all the parts out and get them ready, I'll stop the cut and I'll do a speed ramp for the actual build. So I think I'm sanding parts there. That's part of getting parts ready. Okay. So I'm going to try to find exactly where I want this to be.
Okay.
So I'll put the track in max zoom.
Not on this page yet. I'm up here. Okay. So, 829.
Okay, that's where I started putting parts together. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a marker in here on the track and title it back in for build ramp, and I'll say top of 32. So that marker is now in place. Go back to custom zoom, and that means I'll scrub through here until I can find where all the parts are used. Okay, I see I'm getting more parts out, so I'll back up a little bit. Let's see where this out point is.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here. So this is stopping the speed ramp, which is a 10x speed ramp. And stop ramp. Show top of 32. Okay. And so then this will, in the final recording, this will be a real-time section.
A. Finally, I get to take something off the A card. Look.
Okay, I'm starting to get parts again.
God, A1 times 8.
So after I announce what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put that marker in and say cut for parts. And oops, I forgot the word for. And put in here where I'm cutting for parts for, and that's bottom of 32. 32. And then once all those edit points are put in, I'll go back. So after that's all done, and I'll color code each of the sections that are to be cut. They get one color, and the ones that are to be speed ramped get another color. But because I'm speed ramping them so fast, I'm also ducking their audio out at minus 30 dB, and then replacing them with voiceover that I'll record with this. So that's my process. Now, all of that process took place after almost 2 weeks of multi-camera editing and color correction, which was insanely difficult. Anyway, there you go. It's a little bit of the behind the scenes here. Okay, I promised at one point I was going to put a lot of details on here. So here's the data-rich spreadsheet that I tracked a bunch of stuff. The first thing I want to highlight here is the takes, the clips, and their identities. So I had them all organized by each day and which camera. That was nuts. Okay, so down here was how I was tracking, making sure I had each day's multicam video set up correctly. And so I show which clips are part of each of the day's segments. And once again, just to keep track, making sure I got everything. And the final thing I want to highlight here real quick is the total number of, or the total amount, 946 gigs on disk, 9 hours, 50 minutes of raw video, and I clipped out 7 hours, 20 minutes, and 8 seconds out of all of that, resulting in 2.5 hours of video that I posted on YouTube. What did I learn during this project? I know I had mentioned to a bunch of people, I learned a bunch of things I never want to do it that way ever again. So, one of the examples of that, I mean, you've watched it earlier in this video, is to not take super long takes thinking, I'll just do a multicam edit and post. that was that was silly, and the videos were excruciatingly long. I didn't even do that doing the backyard weeding videos. Uh, and the second thing that was challenging was the cameras were not the cameras were not color matched. Oh, and by the way, it's really hard to stay awake during 10 hours of extremely boring video. Capture only activity on the video. I was spent a lot of time just reading the instruction manual and trying to understand it. And then I also found and even noted several times that I didn't make sure that the thing I was working on was actually in the video. Oh, yes. And I was constantly, kind of like I'm doing right now, yammering on. It's better just to do voiceover at the end. I also should do better lighting. I only had one of my panel lights in there. I should have had one on the left side as well. What else do I have here? Yeah, pre-planning, pre-production is a new concept for me, as you can tell. I need to make sure I show distinct steps and make sure I associate it with either parts of the manual or pages or something. And just a kind of an idea of just using overhead mic and use the other camera and lavs for sync. And I need to do a better build camera angle, meaning the one that I'm actually doing. Maybe have it facing me or something. And yeah, the camcorders both have the ability to do relay recording, which automatically switches to another piece of media. And what that did is it made doing the multicam sync really quite challenging. So much of the takeaways from this project likely show my limited level of understanding of DaVinci Resolve, which is okay. It's a tremendously capable program. I've got a long way to go. But this is, in fact, one of the ways that I learn. I got to do stuff, learn from mistakes, and maybe watch some more how-to videos, trying stuff out and hoping for the best. Okay, guys, that wraps it up. That's my space shuttle launcher model video playlist. Yeah, the project done. Should use a script. See you next time.